Hello there. Have you ever thought, what the hell do I do with my life? Every time I seem to ask advice to someone, it's like, it doesn't make sense at the time. But then I go like 2 steps forward in that direction. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, go this way. No, go that way. Travel while you're young. You have no money, but you have time and energy. No, you have to travel when you can afford it, but have no time or energy. Enjoy the moment, live in the moment. No, plan ahead, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Anyways.
I feel it coming on my throat. Guess I better wash my mouth out with soap. I feel it coming on my throat. Guess I better wash my mouth out with soap. God, I wish I never spoke. Now I gotta wash my mouth out with soap.
Guys, welcome back to another video analysis. Today, as you can see, I bring you contradiction and false dichotomy. And yes, basically this is what I've been thinking about recently and how it all seems like super generic, but at the same time they go against each other. How am I supposed to navigate life like this? I know, I got you. Anyways, first and foremost, what the hell is a false dichotomy? Dichotomy is it's a cute word, you have to say, like, yeah, you heard me. So, but what does it mean? It's just a fancy way of saying dilemma. So if I say a false dichotomy, I mean a false dilemma. And what the hell does that mean? I got you. So, it's an informal fallacy based on a premise that erroneously limits what options are available. The source of the fallacy lies not in an invalid form of inference, but in a false premise. Got it? So what I mean with this is basically what's happening when I ask or when I say that advice people give you or give me to life, to work, relationships kind of sometimes seems contradictory. And that's what I want to dive into now. So contradiction. Basically, it's this form of like either or. You either go this way or go that way. And it kind of makes you have that analysis paralysis because what if I just have 2 options, what if I choose one option and then that means I can never go back to that one? It's like I have to make this decision and we kind of seem like, I think we feel like we're living in this sense of like we have to make a decision of this or that on a daily basis at every waking moment. From the smallest things to the biggest things, it seems like it's always about choosing. And you're not wrong if you think about that. But is it really just either or? Where does this come from? Because there's always a mystery in background to this. Some examples of these contradictory proverbs would be opposites attract, but then you also have birds of a feather flock together. Clothes make the man, but do not judge the book by its cover. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. But wait, out of sight, out of mind? This is what I mean with the cliché advice that we've all heard at some point in time. Life is full of contradictions, and it seems like even the most successful people cannot escape this. And how is this happening? We seem to look at your favorite author, your favorite philosopher, your favorite YouTuber, your favorite artist, dancer, singer, whatever, your favorite human, if you may. And think about the type of advice they usually give and that specific area where they are super successful. What do they usually think about? What do they usually tend to follow? What is the advice? Is it like go, grind, hustle and never give up and never stop? Or maybe it is enjoy the moment. I'm talking about the red pill guy that bashes women and their behavior and how they can never have a partner because of this or that. And then they actually have a wife. And they have a daughter and they have to raise them. I'm talking about the content creator that suddenly says that grinding and hustling is not their worth. So they're stepping away from that and they're just like gonna live life to the fullest and like low key. But at the same time, for them to actually finance that, they have to probably have made the money before through the hustle and grinding. So you get what I'm saying. There comes times in our own lives where even the thing that we actually live by the most, it seems that this just doesn't seem to apply to that situation. And so, of course, when we are the audience and we have people like on the internet saying, this is what I did, this is what I should do, or maybe consider doing this, this gives us a sense of like, they know what they're saying because they've achieved it. But they don't show us most the times, I'm not saying always, how they can sometimes have to contradict themselves. And this requires context. It's like, why would you say that if you did that? Oh, well, it requires context, because in that situation, if I'm the grinding hustle kind of girl and I'm always working, but then you kind of see me, oh wait, did you take a break? And I'm like, yeah, I had a burnout. You can't always boil it down to a generic type of advice that will apply always and forever to anyone around you, no matter what. It's like the best I can do would be to say, you just do your best to find balance. And you go like, what the hell is balance? Also, if you do your best to find your type of balance, the thing that you say it's balance for you, that probably means that you won't get out of your comfort zone that much. And therefore, you're not going to be challenging you as much. So growth is kind of like injured. And so this is the type of thing that I'm saying. I don't think this is like hypocrisy. I don't think this is lack of integrity. I understand and actually think this should be understood as well by everyone. Not just normalized, but understood, because fuck normalization. That sucks. I believe no human can be completely satisfied and happy by gripping tightly to an ideal that they will not let go, like in any situation whatsoever. I think the greatest example of is how we inherently crave safety, but at the same time we defy and kind of contradict ourselves on a daily basis. We do, from a biological standpoint, crave safety, physical, emotional, and mental, if you may. But at the same time, we do look for love in relationships. We do look for friendships. We want adventure, adrenaline, literal danger through physical activity. So isn't this a contradiction? But at the same time, don't humans do actually really need this to expand, to know themselves better, to become better humans? We need to risk love and getting our heart broken in order to get to that point of being in a good, healthy relationship. And at the same time, when you're with that person, everything goes well. You never know when the things are going to break up, or if ever going to break up. And this is a huge risk we take. Again, career, jobs, we keep changing, or we kind of lay back and try to stay the same because we look for safety. But at the same time, we're not happy. So we're trying to look for something better or different, or just like going around and asking for advice and like look into ourselves like, what the hell do I want to do with my life? The point is, we actually do seek balance all the time. Funny enough, through contradiction. And then there's actually a really good article on this that I will link below on the resources from Psychology Today, if I'm not mistaken, where this is very well explained. Contradiction is actually the way we find balance in life. We have, as humans, this amazing ability of compartmentalize attitudes, experiences, thoughts, feelings. So whenever we say that we go for sustainable branding, we prefer that, we think it's more ethical and better morality comes from that, but at the same time we go for the cheapest brand that's available, but it's not local, and we're like, oops. That's exactly what I mean. This contradiction is what actually allows for psychology and science and philosophy to arise, because it makes us think. It makes people go dive deep into those dissociation moments and trying to understand how can I solve this problem? Why is this happening? And how can I basically bridge the gap between what I actually think and believe and how I act? If this is our way to find balance through dissociation, through contradiction, does that mean that people contradict themselves in life and through their own advice is actually okay? While most humans struggle to maintain a sense of psychological unity, contradictions produce destabilizing breaches in the self. Whether conscious or unconscious, these fissures nourish creative inspiration. So, as I just said, this is actually what makes us creative. And I have to be honest, I started this video thinking, what the hell do I do? Should I go this way or that way? I'm tired of this, obsolete questions or obsolete answers, because I never know what to do. Which one is it? And I was kind of are these creators wrong for seemingly contradicting themselves and not kind of following their values or their sayings or whatever they preach all the time? Is this wrong? And I have to say that I got to the point of like, I need to get off my high horse, because honestly, I don't think they're wrong. I think this is necessary. If this is what brings balance, this is what brings creativity, inspiration, then I think this is actually necessary. People need to find a way to always do their best to follow their values through their actions, but at the same time, just because your main life advice basically encapsulates this set of experiences does not mean that there's no one occasion in your life where you actually have to go the opposite way. And this because all beliefs are contextual. And I shall quote, "Almost any statement you can make about human behavior is true only in certain circumstances. The trick to understanding behavior is to know the circumstances in which behaviors are going to happen." So we basically arrive at the thing that I think I basically preach the most in my life. There you go, I'm just one of them. Which is context. You always need context. It's not like right versus wrong. It is important in society. It is important for rules and organization. But it requires context. It's like we say that a knife can be, like, a knife is bad. And I'm like, well, a knife is bad if you use it to kill someone, but a knife used by a surgeon can save someone's life, right? So this is what I mean. I think the biggest conclusion here is that contradiction, 1, inspires and brings creativity afloat. 2, it actually is necessary to reach balance. And 3, does not mean you're not following through with your values. And so the best way to wrap this up, this video, is to actually say that the best advice I have to give myself to you from all of that I gathered from this research is that you don't need to have all the answers right now. Who am I? What do I want to do with life? What do I like? What am I good at? These are all fair enough questions. You should have an answer to them eventually. Somehow. Maybe you should probably lose the answer and then you have to find it again. But they don't come like all at once, to be honest, and they don't come all in the same phase of your life. So I think it's really important to just keep going, keep doing something. Go after what you think it's the best thing right now for you. And honestly, if you do want to make sense, as in, if you want to go and follow someone's advice, just like I said, the ones that you seem to admire and you seem to be able to see yourself in them and you kind of know that this is what I want to go for, then yeah, by all means, go and follow your advice. Just because I'm going for the grinding mindset, this set of weeks or months, this does not mean that I have to do this my whole life. So it is important for you to establish a set of priorities for this period of time. For me, I like to set priorities for the day, sometimes actually for the whole week. And I know for this week, my 3 to 5 priorities are this, and that. And so I always find a way so that my actions align with those priorities. And this is what I have to follow now. However, I don't tell this is who I am. I am still allowed to get off the hustling, grinding mode and be more social, be more gentle with myself. It's like we can have these breaches of contract as long as we follow the top priorities. You also have to recognize that most phases in our life can go from like a few weeks to a few months or even sometimes a few years. And I think that's where you need to kind of like dedicate the chapter to. Respect that you can have different goals and different timings and different speeds, because life is not super like, it's not black and white, to be honest. So how can I just say this is what I am by grinding, or this is what I am by living in the moment? You need both. You need both, and you need contradiction to achieve that balance, to achieve that creativity mode. So this is very important. So now back to the same question. Should I live while I'm young or just work and plan? Well, this is how I help you guys. You first do what I just taught you throughout this whole video. You break this down. And first thing first, this is a false dichotomy. This is a false dilemma. You can have it both. You cannot have it all. You cannot have it all. Don't fool yourself. You can have both, as in, for now, this is what you want to focus on. The priorities thing that I just explained. And then you can actually see, okay, maybe that's done. I want to focus on something else. It's like, for you to be enjoying life, you do not need to quit your 9-to-5 job. You can keep up with your 9-to-5 job and just add, top it off with some activities, with some experiences that will enrich your life, that will make you feel like you are living life. To be honest, I think that most cliche advices, like the ones that we've explored today, will always make you feel like you're missing out. If you go and travel, you're missing out on having a stable relationship and building a home and a family, and your friends maybe, and your country. If you do stay, you will be missing out on new cultures, new experiences with meeting new people, seeing beautiful views, having amazing adventures, and explore your self-identity, your independence. So you will always be feeling like you're missing out. However, look around. Most people have a pretty good balance of phases. During one phase, they're in their country and they're hustling more and they're not going out as much, and they still kind of maintain a social life here and there. And then for some months they will go traveling, or they will just sporadically have a solo travel, a solo trip, and then come back and then start a new project. Most people are pretty normal in the sense that they can do this balance. You want to be the best writer in the world. Does not mean you have to neglect all of the experiences around, because isn't that what brings you experiences to write about? Isn't that what brings you knowledge about the business, about the industry, about people like you that have, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I think even if you want to be the best at something, you still need contradiction. You still need those moments of should I go left or should I go right? Otherwise, you're just living in your bubble. You're not being stimulated. You're not being challenged, and you will not produce good work. Don't forget, spot the false dichotomy, break it down, and align your actions with your priorities. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed this. The resources will be linked below, so it makes it easier for you to do your own research. But I would love to hear your comments, your thoughts on this. I'm Monica Martini, and this was the video analysis. Farewell, critical thinkers.
It's a bit of